anytime you're talking about the idea of a console war, the battle between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, there's always something very unique about Team Xbox. Obviously, Nintendo, they make games. They're there to create the next major Pokemon or Zelda or Mario. Well, PlayStation, they originally made their billions by creating the best hardware, big TVs, crappy cell phones, and of course, the PlayStation, which has been a very lucrative brand. But when it comes to Microsoft, the Xbox is a small piece of the pie. Microsoft is literally a $1 trillion organization. That's how they're able to buy up so many studios. That's how they're able to just bankroll huge amounts of research and development. Well, today, they randomly announced they're firing 10,000 employees. 10,000 people, ranging from Xbox dudes to game devs, all the way up to Microsoft executives, and all of it for a very dumb reason. But let's talk about that. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, first and foremost, this is not a video trying to bash on Microsoft. It just feels weird because specifically, it is now exactly 1 year since they announced the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which means that as it currently stands, we know for a fact that Microsoft has $69 billion just sitting in their freaking wallets right now. Like they just straight up can get out their freaking wallet and go, hey, here's my $70 billion. And yet they're still trying to cut costs to maximize profits. So over here on twitter.com, we have a tweet by Jason Schreier where he said, Microsoft is laying off 10,000 people today, including its gaming divisions, meaning people like Xbox and Bethesda. God, that's so extremely disappointing. These layoffs come off as they're trying to finish the acquisition of Blizzard. Now, inside this is actually a big stock article written over on Bloomberg. What's kind of shocking is that technically this 10,000 jobs is actually only 5% of its total workforce. Somehow, as insane as this is to even try and fathom, Microsoft has 200,000 employees, 200,000 people. Well, I guess 10,000 less. Now, these people are being fired for a very, very stupid reason, which is literally it's shaving 12 cents off earnings per share, the company said. That's literally it. This is to save $1.2 billion in their fiscal quarter. Literally, 10,000 people are being screwed over to make it where they get 12 cents more profit on the dollar. Now, understandably, this has been met with a large amount of confusion and pushback from gamers themselves, simply because it just sucks to think about the fact that, thousands of people's livelihoods are just completely ruined. I mean, beyond just the games themselves, it sucks that this is just people being thrown out into the cold. It is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of people are just saying like, oh great, 10,000 souls for one corporate entity. That's not nice. Jesus, this is horrible. I hope those people manage to land somewhere. A lot of people have sort of been saying that they're a little bit nervous. I have seen this sentiment specifically being kicked around. Crippling Bethesda already. When these massive corporate conglomerates scoop up game studios, they always try and trim the fat. That's the way they like to try and phrase it anyways, is that, anytime a company makes a $1 billion acquisition, they scoop up some big studio or a bunch of devs or a QA team from another studio or something like that. They always fire a big chunk of the workforce because, surprisingly, this boosts company value. It's one of those weird things where now you have all the intellectual property, you have all the game series, you have the workforce, but then you fire a bunch of people and it makes your profits a lot higher. I think that it does suck that today a bunch of Bethesda people, a bunch of people probably working on stuff like Sea of Thieves and Halo and I don't know, all sorts of stuff like probably Starfield. Some of those developers right now, literally as I film this video, as you watch this video, some of them are getting a pink slip and told, get out of the building. And that's just such a weird thing for a company that has enough money to buy a $69 billion freaking company. Now, Some people have been making the very clear and very correct observation. This is a modern vintage gamer. This is a good buddy of mine. He is a game dev going way back. This guy actually hacks consoles. He's been making Switch games. He worked with Bethesda on the Doom port. Well, he says this. The Activision acquisition is technically a separate thing. There is a part of the company that buys stuff up. There is a different part of the company that deals with layoffs. But even still, the optics on this don't look good. I feel for those affected by these layoffs. It is absolutely brutal stuff. I guess that's the thing that kind of sucks about modern day video games, is that this is just so much big corporate entities. I am utterly obsessed with Final Fantasy. I love every big new entry. I like the weird spin-offs. I even play stuff like the random DLCs and stuff. But it is weird to fathom that it is just one aspect of a big corporate branch, that this is just a tiny twig on the tree of profit exams and big board meetings. I mean, theoretically, right now, let's say that Sony decided to buy Square Enix. There's talks that maybe at some point this year, Sony may try and buy Capcom or buy Square Enix. And if that happens, I think we're going to see the same thing. We're going to see them try and cut a bunch of very important, very skilled employees to boost corporate profits. And I guess that's always just been so almost demoralizing. That video games are art. Video games, in my opinion, are the most important art. And yet, it's art by companies. And companies need profits. Companies need board meetings. It kind of makes me extra respect good random indie garbage. The more I play random games with like weird pixel art or storylines that don't quite make sense and they're full of plot holes, but the game itself is like $4, I guess I kind of appreciate stuff like that, because if there's like 5 guys making a game, you can assume that one of them is probably not going to get laid off. But this has just been some random off-the-cuff thoughts. What do you think about the mass layoffs at Microsoft? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. Oh yeah, thanks for all the well wishes. I got my first of a series of dental surgeries yesterday, and I feel great. You know, it's really weird. If you're afraid of going to the dentist, definitely go. It's crazy how much better I just feel getting rot cut out of my teeth. Seriously. Good vibes.